broadcasting from a location that the government says does not exist. We present to you tonight the MnRTV Live Show, and tonight we are asking the questions: are aliens walking among us? Is it possible that they're walking among us? Look, they look like us, they act like us, but they're not us. But that'll be later on tonight. Right now, with our special guest David Jacobs. He'll be coming on at 8:15 tonight. But right now, I want to introduce to you the one and the only, the coffee man himself, Mario the Madman. Welcome to the MnRTV Live Show. Are you excited to find out if there are aliens walking among us tonight?
Well, you know what? I always ask myself these questions. Are we alone out there? Which I know we're not alone out there. That's why we're doing this show. So that we're going to talk about this show and tell you exactly what the hell, who's walking amongst us, if they are. And I'm sure that they are walking amongst us, right, Dale?
Exactly, for sure. But this week's been terrible about what happened in Brussels, but we'll be talking about that later. It's very tragic. And also the death of Rob Ford. May he rest in peace. He was 46 years old and he died of cancer. And yesterday was not a good day.
No, but we're going to be talking about that in the news coming up very shortly, right, Dale?
And this will be brought to you by the Montreal Anti-Illuminati Task Force. And are you excited for tonight's show? Our guest David M. Jacobs talking about aliens. He's researcher and author. The alien plan to control humanity.
Always excited. And I can't wait to hear more about it, right?
Exactly.
So,
for sure.
So shall we commence the show, which is the pictures of the week, and then, I mean, the introduction, then the picture of the week, the news, and then the topic at around 8:15, right? We're ready to start, right?
Exactly, for sure. But tonight, do not miss it. David M. Jacobs, are aliens among us?
Yes. So now let us commence. This is me. This is Mario. I'm going to be flipping on over. So you'll be hearing my voice. You'll be seeing Robert. And you'll also be seeing what I'm going to be showing, because you need to see the proof to understand what the heck, not hell, but we could say hell. It's not swelling. What the heck we're talking about. Right there, Robert?
Exactly.
All right. So here she is. Here's our wonderful blog. It's called the MnR Productions Mariolaur.blogspot.ca. It appears in the description alongside with all the links that we're posting up, and you can see it. You know, right after the show, I'm busy putting the links all together now. And here's the description of the show, and on the side here, it shows when we started in 2006. And if you don't see this right here, just hit refresh, and you should see that, and you could bookmark this wonderful blog. And right underneath is Chitango, and there everything is happening. All the action is on there, right, Robert? People are going and giving their point of view, and you could even ask questions to the guests, and we'll take, because that's what I'm going to be busy doing, the technical work while the guest is on. Right there.
I'll be interviewing the guest.
And he's right here. Here's the guest. So now let's get to the pictures of the week, the popular pictures of the week that appear on both Conspiracy Talk on Google Plus and on Facebook. And here she is.
September 10, 2011, Saddam Hussein and Taliban, present day ISIS and Taliban. Was this worth $6 trillion?
Well, for the Americans, I think for them, I think they say it is worth it, because there's more than petroleum down in these areas. I think that they're there for portals, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
They're there to control that. That's why they're there, and for them, it's very well worth it. All right, so we've on next, the next picture, right?
Yeah, right there. The next picture's coming up. Let it be known that Anonymous has been infiltrated by the CIA. and no longer reflect the will of the people. But I think anonymous could be just about anybody. I think anybody could call themselves anonymous. I mean, we could call ourselves anonymous also, but we're not hackers or anything like that.
No, you're right on there, Rabbi. I believe the same thing. You know, there could be good anonymous and bad anonymous.
Like a rogue anonymous type thing.
Yes, but we're not anonymous. We have nothing to hide there. Suivant, next. Oops, all right.
The Puppet Show. Bilderberg selected Rothschild approved next president. The tough guy, the corrupt insider pretending to be a rebel. The caring old uncle lures voters to the party so they'll support Hillary. The Christian, the illusion of choice for the religious right. Yeah, especially the two on top. That's all people are talking about for the past couple of weeks, and it's going to be getting even more and more into that.
Because these people right there, they're all puppets. They all have strings on top of their heads, which we do not see. And there's a puppet master up there. And the puppet master, he has chosen Hillary right there, the Rothschild. That's who the puppet master is, right there, Rabbi?
Yeah, Rothschild, head of the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati family.
Suivant, next.
And look at this. Florida, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders. It's a sign. Look how much approval she's got. 66.6. Now, I don't know. I can't say that she's the beast. But it's a sign that this has been tampered with by the Illuminati. 66.6. Because in the Bible, Revelations 13, if you read about the number of the beast, it comes to 66 and 66 pre-score, which equals 666, the number of the beast. So, I don't know. It's a sign of something.
But we are in the beast system. This is the beast system, the computers, right? The government.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, for sure, we are in the beast system now. I mean, look at that. Hillary could. Now, I know some people are going to say, "Oh my God, they're saying that Hillary is the Antichrist," but I don't think she's the Antichrist. It's just, it is what it is. Just very odd.
No,
it
she's
is
a
the beast.
reptilian.
You think?
Yeah. She's a reptilian. She's a beast.
Well, I know we put on a
beasts.
video where Donald Trump was a reptilian. We have a video in the conspiracy talk about that she's ice shifting, you know, but we don't know. Okay. Whoa. I will, no matter who is standing here next year, I will stand against them because the false flag wars and police state will not stop. The Rothschilds run this country. They own the media. They print the money. They own the house. They control your jobs. They vaccinate, educate your children. They start illegal wars. They instigate civil unrest. And none of these candidates has the guts to say it. Yeah. When is Donald Trump going to say, "Yeah, my boss is that no good Rothschild"? When?
It's all like watching a big wrestling match. You know, that's what it is when they know who the boss is and they're just following orders. That's what this is.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think he ever talks about Rothschild or anything like that. Not at all.
No. It's sad. It's sad to say.
He's not allowed to talk about the Zionists, you know? Okay, next. The FBI actively sabotage and dismantle the American Indian movement, the Chicano movement, the Black Power movement. But the KKK is still alive and well today. Ask yourself why that is. Exactly. Why that is.
And the question is, who's hiding? Who's hiding behind the KKK? Why do they cover their faces like that? I was told that who's behind the KKK is all doctors, lawyers. Who else? Who else is big out there? Politicians, perhaps.
Doctors, lawyers, medicine, scientists.
Yeah, that's who's hiding.
What else? Pharmaceutical bigwigs and scientists and all kinds of people like that.
You're all criminals, I tell you. Look at this.
Look at this. Americans don't elect presidents. This is your president and vice president, Lord Rothschild and Rockefeller, and they win every single election. If you think Trump or Sanders will stop these men, you don't understand how the government works. These are the men that lead our country to war, destroy economy, and steal our freedoms. And they make us sick. Rothschild makes us sick, doesn't he?
Yeah, they don't care about us. People out there, Google Rothschild, Google
Evil man,
Rockefeller.
the head of the 13 bloodlines. Just thinking of him boils my blood. Well, one day you're going to get yours. Your time is coming, Rothschild, Rockefeller.
And they control these people who are laughing and saying, look at those jokers.
There's Donald Trump with Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and isn't that
his wife?
His wife or his daughter?
I don't know. I think it's his wife or girlfriend.
You know, he said Donald Trump. He said that if he could date if his daughter wouldn't be his daughter, he would date her.
Yeah, but they're reptilians. That's why.
Interbreeding. But I find look at their eyes. They all have something in common with their eyes. Especially the three of them, Clinton, and Donald. They all have deceitfulness in their eyes.
They're all a big happy family. Look at them. They're all laughing, having a good time there.
Eyes on fire.
I don't want to see this.
I wonder if they're going to meet the big black shape with eyes of fire. What they're going to do.
One day.
Money is not power. Convincing 7 billion people that money is power is real power. And just to think of it, that we have to go to work, we have to slave out our jobs for money that doesn't even exist, for a piece of paper that when you die, you don't even bring it.
It's not even backed up by gold. That's the problem. It's like having monopoly money.
And wipe yourself with it, you know? And we kill ourselves for a piece of paper. Our purpose is to go kill ourselves for a piece of paper.
Yeah, but that's what they want. It's part of the illusion. It's all part of the big, grand illusion.
Of the Matrix. The Federal Reserve, a privately owned Rothschild central banking cartel, charging taxpayers interest on money they print out from thin air since 1913.
There you go.
Yeah,
can't say
there
more
you go.
than that.
Who owns them? Who owns the banking?
The private company.
And who owns the private company?
The Rothschilds.
Yes, the Zionist Rothschild, right there. Right there. Gets me more and more angry. But he's laughing. If the apocalypse ever happens, stay away from the Statue of Liberty. And look at all these movies. There's Aftershock. There's Ice Age.
Planet of the Apes.
I can't see the other ones. Is there what's that movie called? The Day After
Tomorrow. Right there.
And what's the last movie?
Ice Age.
Did we see that?
Wars of the World.
Yeah.
Aftermath. I don't know. They're always the Statue of Liberty. It always happens in New York. Even Godzilla goes to New York. So it goes to tell you. Look at Diaz. Diaz has got lots of heels. Lots of heels.
If sheep could vote, they'd pick the guy who feeds them, even if it's the same person who will slaughter them later. Exactly, for sure. That's people.
Unfortunately, we're all sheep. Even if we're awoken, we're still sheep because we all follow the money. We all use the money. As soon as we use the money, we're all sheep.
But we have to use the money in order to survive, and we have to go to work. Different puppets, same agenda. Proverbs 29.2. And what do? They look at all the Illuminati symbolism.
But wait, there's something on the bottom, right there. It says, "Trust not
in oppression." Psalm 62:10. I hope we're waking people up to what's going on. That this whole election is all rigged.
No, they're too busy watching what happened yesterday, which we're going to be talking about in the news in a few seconds.
So you're telling me celebrities go on TV and tell us to donate funds, when they make 8 million a movie and we make $10 an hour. It's true. But they donate. We make so much less, and they make 8 million a movie. We can't even make we can't even make 8 million in a lifetime.
Because the poor helps out the poor, and the rich don't help out nobody. That's why.
Wait till their judgment day comes.
Yeah, it's coming. That's why they don't live 100 years. They only live for a short while.
The war is not meant to be won. It's meant to be continuous. George Orwell, and he knew what he was talking about when he wrote 1984. I love that book, the novel. I read it when I was a kid, and I read it recently again. It's great.
You know what, Robert? I think there's always going to be war. War is from the way the beginning, and it's going to end up in war, because that's what us humans are all about. Well, you know, it's like the people up above, they want us to die. That's why there's always going to be war. Unfortunately, but fortunately, people don't see it like how we see it.
That's right. So you live in a free country. Tell me more about the NSA, TSA, IRS, and the police state, where homeless people get beaten to death by cops on camera and get away with it. And this that statement says it all. We're not free. We live in we live in a prisonless. There's no prison. There's no prison walls. It's invisible.
Yeah, but we can't go anywhere. We're confined with gravity. Gravity holds us down. All
Yeah.
right. And last but not least, these right here. The writing might be a little too small.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to do it because I can't see it. Anything.
All I'm going to tell you is here. This gentleman right there is this guy in the Boston Marathon is right here. The guy that happened yesterday. He appears in 3 different places.
Isn't it crazy?
He's an actor. That's all. So that's the pictures of the week for you.
And now let's get into some news, because
No, before we get into the news, we'll say about our conspiracy talk right there.
and we've got to say it because there's new members all the time in the conspiracy talk, and also our show has been broadcast a worldwide transmission. We also have new people watching the show. So if you join Facebook, all you're doing is you search for the conspiracy talk, and you can join. And we screen you to make sure you're not a spammer or pornographer or anything like that. Because if you put porn, we delete you. And that's what happened last week. Somebody put some porn, and so we get rid of it.
And thank you, people out there, for reporting it to us. So like that, we get rid of them, because there's zero tolerance for that.
Especially in a group like this. Yeah.
And if you want to see our new show whenever, just come here, click there, and it'll bring you to our blog, and you can see us live and do what you need to do right there. But people out there, be civilized, you know, be nice out there.
Exactly,
So,
because we come in contact with people that are not nice, people that lie all the time, people that say they're religious, not religious, but they pretend they're making world peace. They want world peace, but they're not. They're just shills, and we know all about that, don't we?
yes, and look at what's happening in our beautiful Chitango right there. It just makes me so happy to see all these people out there enjoying the conspiracy talk and enjoying everything. Chitango, look at that, so excited. So before now, we're gonna get inside the news right there.
Yeah, by all means, we must get inside.
All right. So now we're going to be talking about what happened. We're going to give our take on what happened in Brussels yesterday.
Proof: Brussels terror attack was a false flag. On the slide, towards more false flags. And there's the picture. Look at that. As Brussels continues to count its dead from horrific ISIS terror attack that killed over 30 people and injured over 200 more, it is important to note that this attack is absolutely a false flag, and in the sense that European authorities purposely let in hundreds of thousands of refugees despite the obvious terror threat. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and the entire alternative media has continually warned that something of this magnitude was bound to happen due to leftist policies of allowing obvious military-age refugees who openly hate the West really into Europe. There's literally no other outcome that could have come about these psychotic policies. And is that what's happening here in Canada? Think about this for a second. European leaders brought in 1 million of people from war zones who are admitted invaders of Syria, and they didn't think terror attacks would subsequently happen. Make no mistake, the policies of the leftist European government directly leads to the horrific attacks in Brussels today. Terror cells were brought in on record, and they allowed to attack. And now we have to give our speech up so they will not attack us again.
There he is, Alex Jones.
The man of conspiracy, the king of conspiracy, Jones. It is also important to note that Trump actually predicted this was very sort of attack and was lambasted by the corrupt media, mainstream media, as a crazy racist. And we now know he was 100% correct. Do we know, or did he know something and he was told to say this?
To look like a hero.
Yeah, to look like a hero. During an interview with Fox News Network, Trump was asked about his controversial plan to temporarily ban Muslims from entering the United States. Trump directly brought up Brussels as an example of the failure of immigrants to even remotely assimilate into European culture. I don't know about you, man, but I don't know if they want to assimilate, but there is something going on. And I do think that among the refugees, there are some radicalized Islamic people in there that want to plan stuff, and they're in sleeper cells.
Yeah, and they're paid CIA. They're paid from CIA to do to bring in martial law. That's what they're there for.
Yes, Paulie's right. I read about that. Because one of the terrorists was stopped in Turkey and then deported to Brussels. The Brussels authority knew that he was a terrorist, but they made no effort to stop him or keep tabs on him. It's crazy. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyways, I guess it's just, I don't know if this is good stuff for here. As good as this is.
Well, no. Well, it just talks about the false flag attacks. We know, and we're not gonna get into it now because that's a whole show on its own.
There we go. Let's show. Yes, that's right there, Paula. That's what's happening. All right. So now the other thing of what happened in Brussels is right here.
Turkey's Erdogan warns of attacks in Brussels 4 days before the event took place. In an instance of bizarre timing or perhaps foreknowledge, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan warned Europe only 4 days ago they could see some terrorist bombings and attacks in its cities in the near future if it did not see support and cooperation with Kurdish militants. Interestingly enough, Erdogan mentioned Brussels as a potential target by name. Only 4 days before the attacks, Erdogan spoke about at a commencement ceremony for the 101st anniversary of the Battle of Gallipoli in Turkey on March 18, in which he stated that there is no reason why the bomb that exploded in Ankara cannot explode in Brussels in any other European city. The snakes you are sleeping with can bite you anytime, he added. With ISIS is a Western-created and NATO-directed terrorist organization, has claimed credit for the bombings. It should be pointed out that Erdogan was referring to Kurdish militants whom Turkey considers terrorists. So he warned about them. But what I don't get is people know, but people don't stop it.
No, it's like it's like big pharma. We know about it, but nobody stops it. The government knows, nobody stops them.
Because we're not powerful enough.
You know, I don't know. It's like
it's just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling the way things are happening.
But you know what's the funny? That this is what's really kicks the spot right there, right here.
Oh
when
yeah.
I saw these
322, because yesterday was the 3rd or 22nd, right?
March 22nd.
Yeah, 322 secret. We know about that number. 322 secret societies, depopulation, and the healthcare. What do Skull and Bones, ancient German secret societies, and the Georgia Guidestones and the healthcare bill have in common? The answer is March 22nd. That's right. The Georgia Guidestones were christened on March 22nd, 1980. The first commandment of the Stones was a pledge to keep the world's population under 500,000. March 22nd, 2010 is the day the healthcare finally passed the United States Universal Time. This is the time of the Illuminati use. 322 or March 22nd is the sacred number for Skulls and Bones, the secret society from Yale that produces the leaders of the United States and the world. Isn't it unreal? And there it goes. President George Bush was a Skull member named number 322. Signified Bush replied that this was a secret. Senator John Kerry, who ran against Bush in 204, is also a member of this ultra-secret society. He also refused to tell us what the number 322 meant for the Skulls and Bones. And there it just goes on to talk about the Skulls and Bones and the number. The number 322 is actually the number from March 22nd, the first day of Aries, also called Mars. And Mars wasn't Mars a Roman god?
Yeah.
God. And when is spring? The 21st, right?
Yes.
The first day of spring. So this happens on and like on the equinox. There's always something that happens. There's always like sacrifices that happen, like the equinox. And this seems like this was an Illuminati sacrifice to happen. They kill people like that. The blood gives them power to their gods, or we should say demons. If you get the drift I'm talking about, Mario.
Yes, and then now a lot of people are going to say you guys need to wear your what do you call aluminum foil hats, right? Right?
Tin foil hats. Yeah.
Well, I say aluminum, but tin foil hats. But it's not a coincidence. That's the point of that last news feed. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
There was not a coincidence.
Yeah, and don't forget the links will be up after the show's recorded. All the links will be up about each article that we have here. So in case you guys want to do some further investigation.
All right. So now let's talk about what the news doesn't want to talk about, which is CERN.
Higgsino, or hallucination, new particle detected at CERN, maybe. After the excitement of the Higgs boson discovery in 2013, a new unexpected particle may open a new realm of physics. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, writes Bethel O'Connell. Out of the formless mist of 400 trillion particle collisions, physicists last December saw a blip in their data. At least it might be a blip. In 2011 and 2012, such a blip gradually turned into the God particle, Higgs boson, the biggest discovery in particle physics in decades. If this new one is real, it will be much bigger news than the Higgs, an unexpected new particle, or even totally a new force of nature. Then again, it could be nothing, and probably nothing. The blip, what is it? The blip appears a few more pairs of photons than expected at a particular energy, about 750 GeV. This could indicate the existence of a new particle 750 times the mass of a proton, about 6 times as massive as the Higgs boson. Scientists in the Large Hadron Collider at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research in Switzerland, first reported seeing the excess in 2015. Because you see, folks, they're trying to get the God particle here, because they want the God particle. They want to know what created the universe. They want that. They want to know exactly what happened after the Big Bang, because they want to open up portals, doorways to other dimensions, and see if there is such a thing as parallel universes in the multiverse. So you see, folks, this is what they're trying to do. Because don't forget CERN, and I keep stressing on many shows that CERN they created the internet. The World Wide Web was created at CERN. When Tim Berners-Lee in 1991 wrote the program for the World Wide Web, the forefather of the internet. So what do you think the internet comes from? If CERN is trying to open up portals to ways, what do you think this? I say that this is alien technology, the internet.
And what are aliens? Emails.
Yeah, well,
Fallen
yeah,
angels.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you know, I mean, who would have thought of like just an internet? What the heck? It's everywhere and it's nowhere. You know what I mean? It's everywhere and it's nowhere.
But it's all there for
It's
one
there.
thing.
There. It's almost like, you know,
To
it's
control us.
exactly. Yes, Paulie. Exactly. Yes, some people think the universe will eventually shrink back on itself, and it's called the big crunch. It's called that the whole universe is going to go back into itself, into a point of infinity, and in front of it, infinity is going to be the small dot when it shrinks up into itself. I just hope that if that does happen, we won't suffer too much if we're involved in the big crunch. But I think we did a show about that 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, it's called the Big Crunch, Paulie. Yeah, it's like a planet slowly separating, but then everything collapses into each other because instead of expanding, it decreases. It just comes into itself until there's no more.
All right.
Who knows? Maybe if there's each parallel universe, and don't forget, God says He's gonna make a new universe one day. I mean, a new heavens and earth. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. It's all gonna shrink into itself, bang, and this whole universe is gonna be gone, and it's gonna be a whole new universe when He comes. Because He says He shall make a new heaven and a new earth. That's a possibility.
All right.
Top scientists confirm aluminum poisoning via chemtrails is real. And for scientists to say that, that's something. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Dr. Marvin Hadran says that there's evidence of a secret governmental geoengineering program injecting stratospheric particles, aerosols, into the atmosphere, endangering human health. What do you think of this?
I think this is good. This is showing the world that we're not nutcases, that we know stuff. That's what this means right there. And that there's people with PhD that are agreeing with us. That's what this means right there. You see that?
Yeah, a nuclear physicist, geochemist, and cosmochemist, most noted for deducing the composition of the inner core of Earth's as being nickel silicate, not particularly crystallized nickel iron metal, has published a paper in the peer-reviewed journal Current Science, Indian Academy of Sciences, titled "Aluminum Poisoning of Humanity and Earth's Biota by Clandestine Geoengineering Activity: Implications for India." Well, that's just too much.
Well, it's out there.
I mean, it's a clandestine geoengineering activity has occurred for at least 15 years. And then we wonder why we all feel sick. We all have these weird ailments, and what you know, I mean, they're putting chemicals in everything, and even in the air we breathe.
Yeah, because they want to depopulate us. That's why.
Exactly. Oh, for sure. They want to depopulate us, and you know, the slow killing. It's called soft kill. That's what they're doing.
Look at what's in it. Always aluminum, barium. See that?
Yeah, I see it. Rainwater, ash, a lot of stuff. You know, and I'm sure that the rain itself, you can't drink rainwater. It's all polluted.
And it goes in our drinking water.
So who knows what we drink? Okay, oh, I'm just, my guest has contacted me. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Perfect, okay.
All right. So everything's on track.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so.
Now you want to know what really worries me?
Yes, there has been, there's been a theory there's been many big bangs before, over and over again. And we're just part of one universe, and one universe creates another universe, and there's a whole bunch of multiverses. And within this multiverse, there's something that compromises everything, heaven, earth, God, and everything. It's called the omniverse.
All right, but let's go on back to the omniverse. Yes, but that's a whole show on its own right there.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a show on the omniverse.
All right, but now let's talk about deals right here, which is even more scary, if you ask me.
Realistic robots lady cheerfully agreed to destroy humans. What?
You see that, Robbie?
I don't think I want to know.
Look at that.
They want to destroy a creepy new robot called Sophia. Oh no. I hope she's not related to Trish, because Trish is great.
So.
Sophia showed off her skills recently with human-like facial expressions and responsive speech. She's designed for healthcare, therapy, education, and customer service interaction with humans. This realistic bot calls in the uncanny valley. What the heck? She wants to destroy us. She has cameras in her eyes and patented skin, voice recognition software, and can emulate more than 62 facial expressions. Oh, this is getting scary here. Morphing metal could create shape-shifting robots. And you know, the United States, they're probably 100 years ahead in technology, in black budget programs. So this is just like, for them, they have it already.
And they want us humans.
And they say in 20 years, humanoid robots will be walking among us, helping us, teaching us. You know, and what's surprising me, people are actually going to be dating these robots. They're going to be buying them as girlfriends.
Transhumanism.
Yeah.
We're going to be involved with them, be part of them.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. So let's hope let's see Sophia again.
She's a predator. She's quite predator, if you ask me.
I don't know. You know, kind of scary looking, but you know.
But how do we know, Robert, that these robots that look like humans are not walking amongst us? That's what we have our guest, that he's going to come on and talk to us about.
Yeah, he's going to come on and talk to us. Yeah,
hybrids.
A great man we'll be having on in a couple of minutes, but I guess soon we have to go on break.
Yeah, soon, but there's just a few more things we're going to be talking about. Now, there was something about Trump, but I guess we'll have to skip it and just go into deals.
But mystery surrounds Chinese space station in Argentina. No, wow, you could have talked about Trump.
Oh, okay, but do we have time?
Well, a secret. Well, yeah, we do. A secret Chinese space station is being built on land in Argentina as a result of a deal 4 years ago, which granted China permission to use the land for space exploration. So China's building a space station in Argentina.
But nobody knows about that.
I didn't know about that, but who knows what's going on in places like Argentina, Brazil, and Ecuador, and all these places. Because we don't hear often of really anything much going on down there.
No, and you know what?
Trust me, there's a lot of deceitfulness going on in South America, but we never hear it. Like, we never hear UFOs and stuff like that, and New World Order. I'm sure
China's a
there's more.
powerhouse. China's a powerhouse.
Yeah,
You
China.
know?
I'm talking about South America. Yeah.
Well, they go together because don't forget, China is not a friend of the United States, and I'm sure even South America is not friends of the United States. And that's why now, since you wanted me to bring up what's his name, Trump, since he loves the Chinese so much, from China, I'm talking about, not the Chinese that are here, because the Chinese that
Yeah.
are here, let me just wait up for it to load a little. How come it's not loading? Ah, here it is.
I will vote for Mark Freiberg. I will vote Trump because Hillary will destroy the whole world. What surprised us was how clear Faber's political outlook is. And there's Donald Trump right there, but I don't know. Whenever Mark Faber appears in the financial media, in this case the Bloomberg TV, one can expect the usual fire and brimstone sermon of how micromanagement of the global economy by central bankers will lead to disastrous results, something wholeheartedly, and as 2 months ago, did virtually every billionaire at Davos. Recalls that just at the end of January, the WSJ, when reporting from Davos, said that the world's central banks can't save us anymore. That was the message from some of the world's most prominent investors at the World Economy Forum in Davos. Well, they know something.
Yeah, for sure they know something.
When that's going to hit, folks, it's probably going to be a day we don't expect it, when the whole global economy is going to collapse.
Look at this. This is very scary.
Exactly. But I think we better go on break now because
wait, there's just one little thing. You see, that's why I was saying to myself, just something to do with UFOs, and then we'll go for break, because that's what we have to talk about. Just this little thing.
Okay, humongous aliens, mothership, UFO sucking energy from sun spooks, UFO hunters. Yes, I've heard that sometimes the ships they go over there and refuel. UFO hunters have once again expressed concerns that swarms of massive aliens, UFOs, and some Earth-size, often spotted NASA solar and heliocentric observatory satellite images parked in orbit around the sun and sucking energy from the sun could shorten its lifespan. Yes, I heard that.
So they're sucking energy from the sun. Why? I don't know. But now we're going to get Trish on very fast, because she has to say little things here and there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll be back at a short break, and we'll be getting on David Jacobs on our show to talk about aliens among us. Don't go away.
Here she is. Here's Trish.
American historian and recently retired associate professor of history at Temple University, specializing in 20th century American history and culture. Jacobs is particularly well known in the field of ufology for his research and authoring of books on the subject of alleged alien abductions. Contents show career edit. Jacobs obtained his PhD from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1973 in the field of intellectual history. He wrote his dissertation on the controversy over unidentified flying objects in America. When a revised edition of his dissertation was published as The UFO Controversy in America by Indiana University Press in 1975, and sold out, very unusual for an academic work. 2. As a faculty member of the Department of History at Temple University, Jacobs specialized in history of 20th century American popular culture. 3. He stated that his current research interests involve a delineation of the role of anomalous experiences in personal and cultural life. 3. For over 25 years, Jacobs has taught a course on UFOs in American society. 4.
Thank you very much there, Trish. Sorry we rushed you right into it, but we had no choice, really, you know?
Exactly. We had no choice. Can you hear me, Mario?
I hear you loud and clear there, Rabbi.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. All right. So we're gonna be getting our guest. I'm gonna be contacting him right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get
I'm
Dr.
ever ready.
Let's get David Jacobs on. Let me call him up.
Yes. Let's do this. All right. So, where were we? In the beautiful
Hello,
world of Chatham.
David. David, welcome to the MnRTV Live Show. Okay, it's just an audio thing, but it's great. Like this was going to be recorded. Okay, great. So it's wonderful to have you on our show, and we just want to know a bit about yourself. Like, how long have you been in this UFO field? Probably longer than I've been alive, I would imagine. 'Cause I've read your books, and they're wonderful.
We don't hear anything. We don't hear anything. We don't hear anything.
That's incredible. You know, I mean, I've seen your books. I've seen them on bookshelves everywhere in stores, and I'm just wondering, like, in all your years of UFOs, have you ever seen a UFO or an alien?
We don't hear. Hold on, Rob. We don't hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wait. Yeah. Hold on. I think no one can hear me now. Mario, can you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't hear the guest. Nothing.
No one's. No, okay. I don't know. I don't know what to say. David, we're gonna call you back because apparently my guest can't hear you. Is that okay? All right. We'll see what this always. Sometimes these things happen. We'll be right. We'll call you back in about a minute.
Technical
Okay.
difficulties.
No one can hear.
No, I could only hear you. I can't hear the guest.
Oh,
And I
well,
wasn't
I don't know what to
talking. I
say.
don't know why they say I sound scary. I wasn't even talking. I was just trying to tell you that we couldn't hear you.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
couldn't hear the guest, not you. You we heard.
Okay, well, let me try it again. Okay.
All right, we'll start from the beginning if we hear you. I mean, if we hear the guest.
Hi, David. Okay, let me see if my co-host could hear. Could you hear Mario?
No, I can't.
That's odd. That's very odd.
You know what it is? You remember what happened
What?
the last time? The problem you had with your computer, the sound, the backup sound. I think that's what it is, because you have Windows 10 and Windows 10 updates always. You remember I told you why I hate Windows 10? He probably can hear me, but I can't hear because of the acoustic sound there. There's something that the echo sound or something. There's that
Yeah.
option that you gotta knock off.
Uh,
That's the problem, because we don't hear no sound in the
wait.
background.
Okay, David, can you hear me? Okay, we're gonna have to call you back because I think something's wrong with the computer. Sorry about this. The first time it happens.
It's Windows 10, people.
Okay.
That's why I hate Windows 10. Windows 10 does that. We always have to check
Where
for
is
not
it though? I can't find. I can't find it now.
Oh, man, Windows 10, I hate you. I'm sure that's what it is, because they always update Windows 10 and they change their option for them, not for you. That's
So
why
it's the system. Where is it now? I can't think of that now.
It's in your settings, in your audio settings.
My audio settings. Like I have time to do this now. I'll tell you.
We can't even test it. Well, we could actually, but
I can't find it now. I think I'm just gonna go to bed.
no.
So
it's okay. It happens.
Yeah, but where is it? The settings. Is it in the control panel?
It might be there. I don't have Windows 10. I don't want Windows 10. That's why I say I don't want it. I hate Windows 10. Because they always update. Big Brother, they're always updating. And don't you remember how you did it last time?
How can I remember all these things? I have a life, I can't always freaking remember every little thing I do. Now you're asking me to do something.
I'm not asking. I'm just saying it's Windows 10. It's Windows 10 the problem, because they always change people's settings.
It's in the sound. Okay, I'm in the sound now. Speakers, sounds, communications, mute all other sounds, reduce the volume of other sounds by 80%.
I think it's one of those things. Sound by 50.
Oh, great. I can't keep calling them.
No, I know. I understand.
Microphone.
Freaking Windows 10. Yeah, Windows 10 is for privacy. They suck, man.
Mute all other sound. What should I do? Mute other sounds, reduce the volume by other sounds, reduce the volume of other sounds by 50%, do nothing. Hey?
But isn't there like a check mark to remove so that you can get the sound?
It says mute all other sounds, reduce the sounds by 80%. It was there. Reduce the volume of other sounds by 50%, do nothing. I could put it to do nothing. Will that work?
But then you're going to be at the same place as where you are now.
Reduce the volume of other sounds by 80%.
Try that.
That's where it was before.
So what the hell? Why can't we hear? It's like it's pitch quiet. It's like as if we can't hear it at all.
Or do nothing. What did we do last time?
It wasn't do nothing.
No, I'm stumped. Is it playback? No, playback, recordings, sounds.
It's sounds.
Communications. Okay, sounds is right here. Windows default, modified.
Or microphone.
Microphone. Next time I'll use my old computer. Color device manager. Indexing. I don't know. Microphone. Change icon. Okay. Playback.
But it worked no, it didn't. Last week we didn't have a guest on, that's why.
Sound.
Feedback or something like that. It's something to do with feedback or...
This is wonderful. Date and time. Sound. Speakers. The only thing I could see is, because it says here, reduce the volume of other sounds by 80%. Reduce the sounds of other sounds by 50. Mute all sounds.
No, you don't want to mute all. You don't want to mute that. You don't want to mute all other sounds.
What about do nothing?
No, but do nothing. It'll give you the same results where you are now.
reduce the volume sounds by 50%.
How about if you use your tablet and call them on your tablet, if we can hear your tablet?
I don't know. This is, folks, this is like this is the worst time now for this. Because we did it one time.
It's something to do with your sound in the background. That's the thing. It cuts that. And I'm surprised that Windows actually does that, because they want to hear what's happening in your background. That's what kills me.
So it's device manager. Maybe.
Device
and you know what the worst
manager.
is? Eh?
It can't be on your device manager.
Keyboards, monitors, sounds, videos, and software. Sound, video, and game controls. Oh, I can't think of it now.
I know, we'd have to spend like a good half an hour just figuring it out. Like, you know,
So
when
if I
we're
call him on the phone, you guys won't be able to hear him anyways, right?
No, we might. You know what to do? Turn on your tablet, and we'll hear if there's any sound.
You mean if I turn it on, you'll hear it come on, right?
Yes, and if we hear it coming on, it means we can have him.
Okay, look. Wait, I'm turning it on now. Tell me if you hear the sound.
Yes, we hear it. We hear it. It's from your computer there's something blocking the sound from your computer. So if you call him up there and then
onto my Skype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this should work. But what we're gonna have to do is later on figure out what this thing is and write it down once we figure it out where it is.
Yes, I agree.
Well, what the hell's the matter with this freaking computer? I'm gonna get rid of
Windows. It's Windows 10. That's what it is. There's a feature on Windows 10.
Yeah, but we fixed it.
Yeah, but because they get the updates, it goes back to their settings. That's why I hate Windows 10. I know, but that's why a lot of people hate. That's why they hate that.
Now let me. Oh no! Now I'm gonna get all the messages. Okay. I hope David is still there. Okay. Well, do I have enough juice? I hope I have enough juice. Okay. David. Okay, now let me try calling him.
Yeah, and higher the volume, and I'm sure we can hear him.
Hi, David. Yes. Okay, because I think we're having a lot of problems tonight because of my computer. Are you able to speak louder? Mario, can you hear him?
Yeah, just higher the volume.
Hold on. I'm just gonna higher the volume. Hold on. Let me just see. Hopefully it'll work. Yeah, David.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect. Oh, I'm so glad because what happened was I have a new computer and there's a setting on my computer that lowers the sound. And when I got the computer, we fixed it. But somehow Windows 10, what it does to its old self, its old settings, and I still didn't figure it out. So now I'm calling you from my laptop.
Oh, okay.
And you're on my tablet right now. I'm gonna have to figure it out later. So sorry about that. I feel a bit silly now. But anyhow, Dave. Pardon?
I feel that way all the time.
I'm telling you. So all right. So David. Yes. So where were we now? We're gonna have to edit all this out and. Let me ask you again. So, have you seen any UFOs?
I have not seen anything that I would consider to be a UFO. It is not something that you got to remember. Most people in the world do not see UFOs, and I'm just one of the many millions.
Oh, okay. So how did you get involved? Like, did you join any teams or anything to do further research into UFOs?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Oh, did you join any team or any organization to research UFOs in your career?
Yes, I started my quote career end quote in 1965 when I got interested in the UFO subject. I was an undergraduate at UCLA, and when I went to graduate school in 1966 at the University of Wisconsin, I continued to do UFO books, and I began to subscribe to UFO magazines. I joined UFO organizations, and by 1967-68, I was investigating cases in Madison, Wisconsin, and I just stuck with it. I wound up writing my doctoral dissertation on the controversy over unidentified flying objects in America. And since then, I've published 4 more books on the subject, and I wound up teaching a course on UFOs in American society at Temple University in Philadelphia, and I taught that course from about I think it was 77 or 78 to 2011, the only regularly scheduled full credit course on the subject in the United States.
Well, that's amazing. That is amazing. I find. So, how did you? What made you start writing books? Was it easy? Like, how did you get the information in a time when we didn't have the internet?
Well, I wrote my first book was my dissertation, which included another research trip and an extra chapter in it from the dissertation. And that was published by Indiana University Press and then by paperback by Signet Books. And then I did a lot of talk shows, attended UFO conferences and this and that. In 1982, I was introduced to Bud Hopkins, and Bud Hopkins showed me what the abduction phenomenon was all about, something that I was not very enthusiastic about beforehand. And once I became friends with Bud in 1982, and it sat in on sessions that he did with abductees and talked with abductees and went to abductee get-togethers and so forth at his house. In 1986, I began to do my own hypnosis with abductees. Hypnosis is really the wrong word. It's simple relaxation techniques and not much else. And then I began to understand what the abduction phenomenon was all about. There's only so much you can learn from looking at UFOs. You can learn their speed, you can learn their maneuvers, you can learn their color, you can learn all sorts of things about the outside shells of objects. But the important thing is who's inside and what do they want? And the abduction phenomenon gives you answers to that. And so I stuck with that, as I am still sticking with it now, many years later. I've been doing this for almost all of my adult life, UFOs and abductions.
So this must have taken a lot of your time to do this.
Well, I was extremely fortunate because I taught at Temple University. I specialized in 20th century U.S. history, also in American studies, and I had a lot of work to do there, and I was a regular professor and all that. But oftentimes I have a Friday schedule where I come in and teach my classes on those days, were a Tuesday-Thursday schedule. And so I had time to work with abductees on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, and on weekends. And I never charged any money for anything that I did, and anybody could come as many times as they wanted. So consequently, I could spend a lot of time with abductees, a lot more so than I think anybody else ever has. I would spend an average of 4 to 5 hours for each abductee for each session. And I worked with some abductees for many years, one person from 1987 to the present. And so I could see change over time. I could see, I could understand what was happening over time, and there was change over time. I was able to chronicle that in a sense, to keep tabs on that. And so myself, my career, such as it was, as either totally insane or extremely important. One of those two. There's nothing in the middle.
Wow. How did people view you in those days? Like, you know, because it's not as known now. Like ufology, that's like a big thing, and I'm sure that back then it wasn't as it is today.
Well, yes and no. The abduction phenomenon was not as important then than it is now. But actually, what I've looked at in terms of UFOs is the number of scientists and academics who have lent their name publicly to study the subject, and that has dropped enormously. The amount of scientists and academics interested in it is minuscule compared to what it used to go. The Mutual UFO Network used to list all the people who held them as consultants. And I gave a paper at a MUFON conference some years back called "How to Build a Scientific Community" or something like that. And what I did is I went back and I looked at every single person with a post-BA degree, MA or PhD or LLD or MD or something like that, to see how many people had lent their name publicly to be a consultant to a UFO organization. And I looked through a different UFO group, Serial Phenomena Research Group, the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena, the Mutual UFO Network, and so forth. And I found that over 1,200 people had given their names in public to help deal with the UFO phenomenon. Not only is there only one of those organizations in existence anymore, but they don't have a list of consultants anymore. The academic and scientific community has made a huge retreat from it, when in fact they should be embracing it even more now than ever before. But I think the problem has been, and I may be wrong about this, and I have to say that about almost everything I say about anything, but I think that conspiracy theories drove a lot of academics away. They do not believe in conspiracy. They don't see conspiracies as a lot of UFO people see them. And there's that. And that's a big one, a very big one. And then there was the fact that once cable TV came about, and cable TV with hundreds of channels, as I have in my own house, you have to have programs to fill in. And UFOs became a major program for the Discovery Channel, for the History Network, and so on. And so there's a lot of material about UFOs and even abductions, although not so much for that, on television, along with a lot of material about ghosts and a lot of material about time travel and a lot of material about you just name it, And I think that the UFO phenomenon got lost in popular culture as a result of that. Just one more popular culture item on television, along with all the rest, equal status with all the rest. And I think that a lot of academics, therefore, either ceased being interested in it or never got interested in it again because it was just pop culture. So I look at the situation now. I'm always hopeful, but I do know that we are at a low point for academics and scientists to study this subject when we should be at an ever increasingly high point. So it's been very, very disturbing for me.
Wow. So what are these aliens? Where do they come from?
Well, don't know where they come from. There's 2 points to this. Number one, I couldn't care less where they come from. That's just me. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's meaningless. However, they have to come from somewhere, I guess. I think. I don't know. But if they do come from somewhere, there's no way they can tell us where they come from. In other words, it has to be, I would assume, from a planet rather than a star. And it has to be from a planet that could be anywhere because these are extremely advanced technologically speaking, and these beings know what they're doing, and they can get here from there wherever they're here. There's no way they can tell us, because if they say we come from the planet of Vortex, that's not going to mean anything to us. And we have names and numbers for galaxies out there. And usually the or stars, and usually their numbers, and mainly. And if they're not going to know those numbers that we have given them. Not only that, but there's billions of stars out there. We don't have billions of names for them. So most of them, maybe 99.99999% of them, we have no name or number or anything. In other words, they cannot tell us where they're from.
It's the first time I ever hear of this analogy of it. Could it be the also interdimensional beings?
Well, the question then is, how do they get here? That's what you're asking. Maybe it's through a different dimension. Maybe it's through a warped a wormhole. Maybe it's a multiverse. Maybe it's another dimension. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. It interests astrophysicists, fine. The only thing that matters is who is inside these objects and what do they want? What are they doing here? Why? That is all that matters. How they got here or where they're from is meaningless in this situation.
So what do they want? Who are they? Do you think it's possible that they're fallen angels and demons?
No.
Why is that?
Well, you're looking at advanced technology. You see, we cannot say that we are alone in the universe. That is not possible. It's ridiculous. Years and years and years ago, we used to think that, a lot of scientists thought that. Now they've discovered all sorts of planets in the Goldilocks zone. And now nobody says that. No scientist says that. They say, oh, there's got to be life out there. There's got to be life out there. When they think about life out there, they think in Earth terms. For millions of years, life on Earth was below the water. And then for millions of years after that, it was above the water, but still non-technological. So when they think of life on another planet, they invariably begin to think about water and little creepy, crawly things that are in the water. But that, of course, is stupid, in my opinion, because we have technology. And if we have technology, and there's other planets out there that have technology, and our technology is brand new, just at the very beginnings of it now. We can date it back. If you say 200 years, you'd probably be pretty correct. If you say 3,000 years, all right, you're stretching it. but 3,000 years in cosmic time or geologic time is nothing. It's an instant. It does not rise to the level of being an instant. It is so narrow a piece of time. So if they have technology at all, they have to have very, very advanced technology automatically because they can get here. That means that their technology is extremely advanced. And that is in fact what people describe. And they describe it around the world. So they, you can argue then, well, okay, there's another one. There's us and there's them. And they're advanced and we're not so advanced. The answer to that is not so fast. If you can't say two, us and them. Once you say there's two of us, you have opened the doors to 2 billion, as far as we know, advanced civilizations with technology. And that has nothing to do with anything on Earth. That's got to do with just plain the advancement of technology. Maybe in 1 million years from now, if we advance and we're not, and we're still humans and all that, we'll have that kind of technology also. But there's nothing about this phenomenon that is in any way, shape, or form related to anything other than life with technology that lives in another planet.
And how long have they been walking among us? In your say?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How long have they been living among us with the hybrids or hybrids, as you call them?
Yeah, I say hybrids to differentiate those hybrids whose task it is to live here, and all the other hybrids are workers who are in the workforce to get them to live here. And we don't know how long it's been. I do know that I first began to hear this in 2003. And it is not possible that it started in 2003. It must have started years earlier. But by 2003, a lot of people were telling me the same thing that I had never heard before. So it certainly had spread, and had spread enough so that people who I'd worked with for decades suddenly began to tell me things like that. They had never said that before. And so my sense is that it's older than we think, but in terms of the largeness of it, of the massiveness of it, it's relatively new, maybe just from the 21st century or so. I think that's a guess. I'm guessing. So I don't really know. However, early on, after, I wrote a book called Secret Life in 1992. And in Secret Life, I talked about what they do what aliens do to abductees. They get them in, they put them on a table, they examine them. This kind of examination, that kind of examination. They take eggs, they take sperm. They insert embryos into women. They extract them. Extract the embryos at around 10 or 11 weeks or whatever it is, and that sort of thing. My guess was, however, that they were still examining us, that they were experimenting with us, that they were interested in what made us tick. They were all sorts of things like that. And that's sort of where I was at. By my next book, called The Threat, which came out about 5 years later, I realized that that was probably wrong and that this was a program with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it was goal-directed. They were here for a reason. It wasn't because they were examining us. And I learned that people who describe examinations with them on a table, it's interesting. I have hundreds of cases of it. It's fine. It's great. People are never abducted to be examined. That is simply not, it's a non-starter. It doesn't happen that way. They may be abducted to get sperm and eggs. That's different. But they are not abducted for an examination. And as my colleague Bud Hopkins told me, he said, you know, David, one of the odd things about the examination is they never listen to anybody's heart. I thought, yeah, that's true. They don't listen to people. They don't do a whole lot of things that a normal examination would do. And then I was reading a book. Don't ask me how I ever started doing this. But I started reading a book about looking through what a neurological examination was. And a neurological examination, I became interested in where the nerve endings were, and I realized that what they were doing was a neurological examination. For example, and this goes back to the Barney and Betty Hill case of all things, they would take their thumb and forefinger, and these gray aliens would, and run down their backbone, the top of their backbone, all the way down to the coccyx, the bottom of the backbone, paying particular attention to the coccyx, and then run their fingers up through between the vertebrae, all up, all the way up, and so forth. And I realized as I was reading this that this was a neurological examination concentrating, for example, in the backbone on sexual response, because that's where all the sex organ nerve endings are, and that was important to them. Whether a person has a cold or whether a person, just got over some major illness, they don't particularly care about. They're not interested in our health and well-being. They have their own interests. And so it's not really an examination as we would know it. It's something different. It benefits them and not us necessarily. There are no miracle cures in the abduction phenomenon except for some children. And I have a couple of cases of miracle cures for children. But there are many, many, many thousands, probably, if not millions, of people who are abductees who died. And the abductees did not step in and stop the death process, nor did they stop a person who's hit by a car, nor did they heal that person. I have to say something about that. One time, there was a cure of a young boy. His mother had said they were going to go out and pick strawberries. And they were with a baby in the front seat, a kid about 5 or 6 years old in the back seat, and the mother who was driving. Instead of going out picking strawberries, they went to an empty lot near a water tower where they were abducted. This happened, and happened, this happened, and that happened, and so forth. And then they were brought back to the parking lot where they were at. The little boy saw something shiny in the street near where the UFO had been. He ran out into the street and was hit by a pickup truck.
Oh no!
And the guy got out of the truck and said, "Where did he come from?" And the next thing that they knew, they were back in the UFO. The mother, the baby, the kid who was on a table, and the truck driver who was sitting there with a glazed look on his eyes. And as the aliens worked on the child, got the child back okay, everything was fine, even though it had just been hit by a pickup truck. And he had bruises on him, but that was okay. They couldn't figure out why he had bruises. But then they were all sent back, and everything was fine. Once again, that was a child. Adults, they get a horrible disease, they're not cured. Carla Turner, a UFO researcher and an abductee, died of breast cancer, for example. Other people have died of illnesses and so forth. Miracle cures would draw attention to them, so they don't do it.
Wow, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's just fascinating.
Well, the whole thing is unbelievable. There's no doubt about that.
For sure. Do you think there's a U.S. alien government secret pact going on, that they abduct humans in exchange for technology?
Aliens don't need to exchange anything. They can do what they want. They don't need to make it legal they don't need to sign a document. They don't need to give anything. All they can do whatever they please, whatever they want, and that's what they're doing. And they are amazingly successful at it. And the government does, as far as I can tell. Now, other people argue with me about this all the time, but I have seen no seriously solid evidence that the government knows anything about the abduction phenomenon or UFOs, or that they're hiding anything. They might be, and we don't know. I'm leaving that door open. I hope there is. I hope that they've got a major, massive, incomprehensibly huge global study with all the other countries in the world who have the same phenomenon. This is a global phenomenon. And I hope they're all in cahoots together to try to solve the mystery, and they're keeping it secret. If they're keeping it secret, that's fine with me. I don't care, just as long as they're studying it and looking into it, trying to do something about it. That's fine. I'm happy. Whether they want to keep it from me or not, I don't care. But I unfortunately, I don't see, I hope there is a secret study, but unfortunately, I don't see the evidence for it.
The thing is, you say that they can do whatever they want, but they need us for something. Could it be that they want to take over the planet or something? I mean, creating hybrids. Why do they need to do this if their technology advanced like millions of years from us?
Right, and the answer to what I call planetary acquisition as their goal, because this is a global phenomenon. This is not something that is just in America or North America or whatever. I've had people who have abduction experiences from around the world, from Uzbekistan, from the lower points of the Tierra del Fuego in Chile. I've personally worked with people from Romania and India and Brazil and the West African country of Mali. It's around the world. This is a global phenomenon. This is not an American phenomenon. It's not like they're interested in an advanced technological society. They have no interest in that whatsoever. They're interested in every society, from what we can tell. They're interested in every country. It's global. Therefore, they have something in mind, and they don't tell us what. I look to the future not with excitement, but with a certain amount of dread. Because these beings have one thing we don't have. They have the ability to control people neurologically, telepathically and neurologically. They all talk telepathically when they're on board a UFO. They talk to abductees who respond telepathically, and they have been responding telepathically. So it's second nature to them since they were born, essentially. Since their earliest memories, the abduction phenomenon starts in very early childhood and continues into old age with great rapidity, with tremendous numbers of abductions. And they can make us see things that are not there. They can make us think things that they want us to think. And we can't do that to them. That makes the imbalance in neurology extremely important, and makes us, as I've said many times, a second-class species, and makes them a first-class species, which is something that I just don't like. I don't know why, but it just doesn't agree with me. You know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. I agree with you. These aliens that are walking among us, the hybrids, do they know that there's something different about them, or is it everything downloaded and they know the whole culture about what to do here on Earth? Could we detect them?
Yeah. They know that they cannot be detected. They know that they are different. They grew up on UFOs. They come here in late teenager, late adolescent, 17 to let's just say 23, 24. Interestingly enough, they do not know their ages. They weren't born. They were taken out of tanks, nutrient tanks, if you read Secret Life and so forth. Taken out of nutrient tanks at a certain time. But there is no calendar. They don't keep date of what day that we have and what all that, or what year. So they guess at their own ages, and people say, well, it looks like they're, like 17, 18, 23, 24, 25, whatever it is. They don't know the word hybrid. They don't know that we think they're hybrids. They don't. If they live here long enough and begin to understand what we know, then they might learn that. But when they first come down, all they know is that they're supposed to be here to live here. That's their task. That's what they were bred for. That's what they're here. That's what they're alive for, essentially. They think, yes, they know. They remember their good old days when they were kids on board a UFO, and they know that they're strangers in a strange land. But they are learning as much about what it's like to live here through abductees who are teaching them. And they are hoping to be on their own, and I'm sure that many are already, and blend into the society for reasons that we do not know. However, we do know this. The phenomenon is clandestine. It is secretive. They don't want us to know. And there's one major reason why it's clandestine, and that is they don't want us to know what they're doing. I don't like that. It means that they're in it for their own good, not for our good. If it was for our good, they would want us to know. That would be wonderful. We could all join hands and sing wonderful songs, and it would be great. But that is not what is happening. What is happening is they remain secretive, clandestine. They don't want anybody to know what they're doing. They have security hybrids who help the hybrids who are living here the hybrids who are living here along with the abductees. Make sure that the abductee is not telling anybody this, not remembering it. Make sure the abductee is in line with what they want, because they know that abductees have minds of their own. Most abductees, I'd say 95% of abductees, have absolutely no idea that they are abductees, because the clandestine nature of the program is such that it begins with abductees. They keep the memory from the abductee, and it is remarkably successful. They are really, really, really good at neurological manipulation. They are excellent at it, far more than we could ever be. So what this is one civilization, I think, eventually supplanting or taking over another civilization. Sort of like what we have done with other countries, what humans have done in the past couple thousand years, countries that they've conquered and things like that. Well, they're doing that too, I think, I guess, I suppose.
Have you heard about the Dulce base?
Yeah, see, I'm not, I don't go into things like that. This is a global phenomenon. And my guess, if there was a crash of a UFO somewhere, they would have it hidden somewhere. They might be in secret putting it together. There's no reason for it to be secret whatsoever, to tell you the truth. I can't figure out reasons why this would be secret. It'd be the most important thing that's ever happened in the history of humankind. They would need as much help as they could possibly get from everybody in the society. They wouldn't keep it secret, but let's just say they do keep it secret. There's no particular reason why UFOs should crash in America and nowhere else. It's the global phenomenon. If they crash here, they're crashing in Timbuktu. They're crashing all over the place. We would get together with other governments to study the subject. They would have their scientists studying it too, but since it's a global nature, there's no reason to keep it compartmentalized just from one country to the other. That doesn't make any sense at all. So there would be an enormous amount of scientists around the world studying crashed UFOs. I just don't see the evidence for that. I hope it's true, but I don't see the evidence for that personally. But what do I know? I've only been in it for 50 years.
Because the thing is, they said at Dulce base, there's like 6 levels, and there's alien genetics going on, or mixtures of humans and animals and aliens. and it's a black ops operation that's super ultra cosmic level secret.
That one I haven't heard. But in those kinds of secretive things, you know, the best thing to do is to say no and give it a good chance that you're going to be wrong. There's a chance that you may be, if I say no, I don't think so, there's a chance you might be wrong. It's a small chance. If you say yes, there's a chance you might be wrong, but that chance is extremely high. So it's better to keep your chances low by saying I don't think so. That's the way I've looked at it. And you know, conspiracy theories began early on, 1947, 48. It was conspiracy theories about a couple of guys whose name escapes me now, who went off to. Somebody said that they found a piece of a flying saucer, and the Air Force sent a couple of guys out to take a look at it, and it was slag from some organization, some mill of some sort, and a steel mill or whatever. And on the way back to Washington, D.C., their plane crashed, and they both were killed. That's when conspiracy started in the 40s. And there's been one conspiracy theory after another forever. The best thing to do is just to say, in my opinion, that other people, of course, their jaws are open when I tell them this. They think I'm so ridiculously stupid. Can't I understand that there is a UFO, that the government is covering up a study, that the government is doing this, the government is doing that, on. And the answer is, I'm willing to be wrong by saying I don't think so. I'm willing to be wrong, knowing that the chances are with me that I'll be right. And there's so many of these things over the years, some at odds with others, and it just doesn't make sense to me as a professor of 20th century U.S. history. Now, there are conspiracies and hidden things all over the place. Small groups of people get together and get inspired to do something bad, you know, or whatever. And there was a conspiracy to murder Abraham Lincoln that was carried out, and this happens. You know, it does happen. People get together with other people and try to figure things out. And the government has all sorts of hidden things. There's no doubt about that. All sorts of hidden things. You have to understand that this would be hidden from the public for decades and decades, from president to president to president to president of the United States, and from dictator to dictator around the world, or whatever, from leader to leader. And I mean, it would be hard to keep any of these kinds of things private. As good as the United States is, leaks happen, and we haven't. It hasn't been proven to me that I'm wrong quite yet. But I might be wrong, and if that's true, then it's okay by me.
Have you heard of the black-eyed kids?
The what?
Black-eyed kids.
Yes, I have heard of black-eyed kids. I have not seen black-eyed kids in person. I don't know what that is. It would not be related to the UFO phenomenon. That's the last thing that these aliens want, is to have people who look like them. That would be totally antithetical to what they're doing. However, but then again, I felt the same thing about cat-eyed people. People with cat eyes. I'd never seen a cat-eyed person. And one day I'm watching television. There's an interview with this woman who had cat eyes. You know, and I thought, oh my God, it's true. There is a cat. And I looked it up, and it's some horrible eye problem that leads to blindness. But black-eyed children, I got to see one and it can't be photoshopped. I've got to see a live one in front of me. Somebody went to a UFO conference or something like that. And until then, I would have to assume if there are black-eyed children, it's a human trait defect, and has nothing whatsoever to do with aliens. Aliens don't want that. As I said, that they go for the average. When they put people here on Earth, they look indistinguishable from humans. Having totally black eyes would make them distinguishable real quick, and they don't want that. Everything they do, if you read my book, every alien type, every hybrid who wants to be a hybrid, but who acts not quite right or doesn't look right or whatever, is probably not going to make it down to Earth. They need to be average. They need to look just like everybody else. Therefore, black eyes wouldn't do it.
Unless it's a different kind of alien species, because there's like the Greys, there's the Nordics, the Reptilians. Maybe it's another one. Maybe it's a warring faction between two different types of alien races. Is that possible?
Anything is possible. Nordics, incidentally, are just an old-fashioned name for hybrids. People didn't know what they were looking at. But anything is possible. The evidence for that, once again, is simply not there. They might be fighting with others, who knows? My guess is, since there are about 10 zillion planets out there, that there's enough to go around for everybody. And my sense of it is that this is that these insectolents, as I call them, insect-like ones, and all the other workers on board the UFOs are all around the world. That's what people report around the world, and therefore they have taken this as their planet. And they might have conflicts with others. We don't know that. It's not ever said to anybody that I've ever worked with. Well, I take it back. That there was early on, but I did not know the role of confabulation yet. And people say things that are not true all the time, as it turns out. However, once you say two, there's us and there's them. Once again, as I said before, you're opening up the door to millions of others. And there might be conflicts going on with others, but they don't talk about that. And we don't see that either. We don't see flying saucers in dogfights, shooting at each other or whatever they're doing in the atmosphere. We don't see that. There's never been any evidence for that. So you have to be very, very careful. The problem here is we don't know the backstory of anything. In other words, hybrid children and hybrid women and men wear a special kind of clothes on board a UFO. Plain, sort of beige colored pullover shift for the women with 3/4 or half sleeves, and a beige shirt, beige pants for the boys and men. We don't know who makes those clothes. We have no knowledge of that. Somebody's got to be somewhere else making the clothes for hybrids. See what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know what hybrids eat on board. We know a tiny, tiny bit, but not really on a day-to-day basis. But we know they have to eat. Some hybrids or hybrids have to eat. Some we know, like early-stage hybrids, you'll have to read the thread to understand what that is, who really look like a cross between alien and human, and really look bizarre. We know that they eat through skin absorption, probably, and we know that gray aliens get fuel, eat through skin absorption, and we know that skin absorption has been applied to alien babies. I'm sorry, strike that, to early hybrid babies who look sort of closeted between humans and aliens. And women and men have to paint a brown substance on their stomachs or skin and they absorb that, and that's their nutrition. And there's other evidence for that as well. But basically, we don't know the backstory. You see what I mean? And it goes on and on and on about what we don't know. What we don't know is unbelievably huge. What we do know is a lot, but it's still within the small category, considering what we don't know. So we don't know the politics of the situation. We don't know who the leaders are here. My guess is, and it's a pretty good guess, that the ones on board a UFO, the insect-like ones, or insect aliens, or insectolins, as I call them, are the ones who give orders, and everybody else takes orders. Every once in a while, somebody will talk about reptilians. They are not common, except on the internet, where they rule the roost, where they're here, there, and everywhere. No matter where you look, it's the reptilian system, the reptilians that, the reptilians all over the place. That is not what people say.
Well, David Icke started that. David Icke.
David Icke, yeah. Well, my guess is he doesn't know what he's talking about, but that's just me. And there's no, it's ridiculous. It's just, when I first started hearing that, I was saying I just couldn't imagine why people were saying that so much. But David Icke probably is the owner of that. But there's always people who muddy the waters in this fringe phenomenon. What you need is a large number of scientists and academics that go all the way through the social sciences and the hard sciences and everybody else who has an IQ above 100 to try to get together, put their minds together, and figure out what is going on. It can't just be me. It's got to be a whole lot of other people, scientists. And as I said, we are in a period right now where scientific interest is at its lowest point ever, in my opinion. I've never seen anything like it. I've told this story many times, and it's an interesting story. I taught at Temple for 36 years. I taught at the University of Nebraska for a year, and I taught for a short time at the University of Wisconsin also. And here at Temple University, my office is right across the street from biological sciences, and not far from where the physicists were, and so forth. And the number of scientists who came to my office in 36 years asking me what this UFO crap was all about. What the hell was I doing studying it? Why am I wasting my time on this? The ones who showed even that kind of interest, negative interest, was zero. Nobody ever came up to me who was a scientist and said, "What is this all about? Why are you crazy?" Nobody even bothered to say that. It was just an embarrassment. They knew the whole thing was nonsense, and they could not waste the 1 minute it took to walk to my office to ask me about it. Not even once in 36 years.
So the end game of all of this would be what? They want to start a new race, get rid of us? Is this what you believe is happening right now?
Yeah. We don't know the end game. I can guess at it. And because I think it's planetary acquisition, my guess is that eventually they will supplant humans. What they will do with non-abductees, we do not know. However, when I look to the future, I look to the future of my two sons, who I think will be dealing with it, not me. And I don't think they're going to live the lives that they thought they were going to live. I fear for them more than I fear for myself. I'm 73 now, and so I'm happy I'm old. Let's put it that way. But we don't know what the ultimate reason is. We don't know what the ultimate end point is going to be. We don't know how they're going to do things. I just have a feeling that one of these days there's going to be a tremendous number of hybrids living, walking among us, if I may use that title, and they will be doing things for themselves and for the people who created them, which would be the insect aliens, the insectoids, and now we don't know whether the insectoids answer to higher ups somewhere else. That is entirely possible. But we do know that on board a UFO, they are the ones who are in charge. But the fact is, though, that as I point out in the book, are we the first planet ever to be taken over through hybridization? And the answer to that is obviously that is not possible. They know exactly what they're doing. They're doing everything right. They are not perfect because they are living sentient beings. They make mistakes. And the mistake is we know about it. That would be a big one, but they're continuing on. Nothing can stop them. Most people think it's totally crazy. The error rate is very, very low. It's obvious they've done this before, taken over planets through hybridization. If they've done it, then there's other ones who are doing it too, most likely. They can't be the only ones in the universe who do that. There's got to be others as well, many others. If we were to exist long enough and develop long enough, maybe we would wind up doing it in some way or another 1,000 years from now or whatever it is. But we can't be the first. So my guess is that this is a common event, and we just happen to be experiencing it now. You know, this phenomenon, it's a new phenomenon. We can date it back with a degree of certainty to the last quarter of the 19th century, and with greater certainty to the first quarter of the 20th century. Because that's when when people who were elderly years ago talked about when they were kids, they were abducted in the 1920s. And I worked with two people who were kids in the 1930s when they were abducted. And first, when they're in early memory of their abductions, they were abducted all their lives, of course. So we know that it predates the discovery of UFOs, you know, in 1947 with the Kenneth Arnold sighting in Washington State. And it predates the ghost rockets that happened in Europe in 1946, and it predates the Foo Fighters of World War II, which started around 1944-45, and it predates the 30s, and we have evidence for the 20s, the 30s, and so forth. So let's just say the major part of the 20th century, almost all the 20th century, UFOs were here, and we're in the 21st century now. Time, obviously, is meaningless to them. We don't know how long, let's just say these insect-like beings, the leaders, we do not know how long they live. They might, for all we know, live forever. They might live for 5,000 of our years, for all we know. They might die and then be replaced by one that looks just like them and thinks just like them every other day, for all we know. We don't know that, but my guess is that time is on their side. Time means nothing. They just keep doing what they're doing, no matter what we're doing. It does not stop them. And so the future. I look to the future. I used to look to the future with happiness and all that. Now I look to the future with dread. And I don't like the future. This is not the program. This is not the phenomenon that I started researching back in 1965 when I was thrilled. When it was, this looked like contact between two civilizations. It was amazing. It was fantastic. It was uplifting. It was great. And the more I learned about it, then, especially with the abduction phenomenon, the more I realized this is not what I thought it was. This is different, and I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I want this to stop right now.
All right. Well, we're near the end of the show because of we had a time constraint because we weren't able to get you on earlier because of our problems. In closing, is there anything that you would like to say? And we'd love to have you back on our show.
Yes, I would like to say for people to rush out and buy my book, Walking Among Us, and buy 25 copies each.
Perfect. And can you plug in your website for all of us?
Well, my website has not been changed since 2012, but it is UFO Abduction, singular, not plural, UFOabduction.com. It's been around since 1999.
And people can write to you if they get abducted or anything like that, I would imagine.
The problem is my mail is overwhelming. If I were to answer all my mail, that's all I would do all day, every day. I cannot answer email. It's horrible. It's terrible. I live in guilt. So if you think you're an abductee, you can error and it goes into a file. You don't have to write your name down. All I need to know on the questionnaire on my website is male or female and age, male, female, age, and what country they're in. Other than that, I don't need to, you can fill it out and send it to me. But at least you'll be doing good for our knowledge of how many people might be abductees out there. Now, some people fill out the questionnaire and answer on everything, and they're not abductees. But it's not a lot.
Perfect.
There's some interesting articles there as well. There's some interesting articles on it. And it's not a bad website, even though I haven't tinkered with it in a long time.
Perfect. All right. Well, it was a pleasure having you on our show. We hope you can come back and we can spend more time once we get a little problem fixed.
No problem on this end.
All right. That's for sure. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And thank you very much. And we'll have you back on soon again.
Great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right. So that's it for the show. We'll be back next week. Have a good night, everybody. Bye, Rob.
Bye.